Can you tell us a little bit more about the framework you would use to approach that conversation where you'd be sharing the results of your energy audit with, say, somebody who maybe is either calling that meeting or is getting energy from that meeting? How would you enter into that conversation to help create transformation around the structure of that meeting, or how to broach the conversation about making it exquisite? Do you have like a certain framework you would encourage people to adopt?
Yeah. So let's take an exact type of an example, right? I'm what I'm hearing from you. There's a meeting that I'm red for, and other people seem to be green for. Like, how do I actually engage with that? Is that correct? Yeah. So, for example, let's say I'm in an exec meeting. This has happened, and in the exec meeting where I go in, I'm like, this meeting is really a mess. It just seems to be people talking. We're not focused on the really core issues that are here. I feel like I'm showing up, but I feel like there's no rails here. Like we're just spending lots of time. For me, it's to stand up and say, look, I have these stories about how we're spending this time, and I have a vision that this could be better and could be different, right? I feel like I'm spending a bunch of time here, and either I'm not contributing in a way that really works for me, and I feel like I'm just sinking my time here. And so what I really want is to be able to create a meeting here that I feel really engaged and energized about, that I feel like I can contribute my best work to this meeting because this meeting is really important. And the reason I care about this and the reason I'm read about this is because I feel like I'm not getting the value or giving the value that's really crucial. And I would love to work with this group to figure out how we can really get there, right? So what you notice there is that I'm stating that it's red. I'm stating that I care about this, that I'm not just rage quitting on this meeting. I think it's important. And I'm also stating explicitly that I want to work with others to figure out how to change it, right? Or how can we really end up moving there? And that allows us to open up in a conversation, which isn't like, hey, CEO or hey, CFO, you're a terrible person. You're destroying this meeting. If I start that way, I guarantee you that conversation is going to go badly. But if I really name it in terms of, it isn't serving me and I want this other thing which is better, how can we get there? Because that's really what I'm aiming for. It allows more degrees of freedom in terms of how we engage to figure out how we can improve that meeting. And the answer might be like, everyone else in the meeting might say, this is working really well for me. And then the meeting comes back a little bit more to me about, okay, so what do I want to do with that? Like, what am I willing to be able to propose, or how am I willing to engage to be able to potentially make change? But I don't control the outcome necessarily, right? But I do have the role of being able to show up into the conversation and trying to engage with others to figure out how we can shift it. And for what it's worth, that meeting, we ended up moving from this very unstructured exec meeting to having a really tight agenda, time allocations, different roles. People have materials to present for it. And it got to be a really fantastic meeting, but it required naming the problems that we were having, like how it wasn't serving the group. Because everyone else is like, well, we just have the exec meeting. We just have to accept the tax. It was like, no, let's shift it. And I think the organization really benefited from having a discussion about it.